How's it going, Nate? Welcome back to the Great Green North. This week we're going to be going over tons of things, but the main thing we're going to be talking about is your spring fertilizer application, because it is time to go ahead and put that down. But before we get to that, I'm going to show you a few of the things that I was doing yesterday. Thought we were done with the snow. Today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pressure washing my deck. So the deck should look like this out here. This is what it should look like. Over by the trees, over up against the house there where the leaves collect in the fall, it's turned quite green, as you can see. So we're going to be trying to clean all this off all around here. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this is what the deck looks like. As you can see, it came out pretty clean to compare to what it looked like before. It did mark some areas over others, but overall, I'm very happy with the result. I'm gonna finish that corner where that planter is, and I'm gonna finish just kind of up here by the barbecue, and then we should be done. So the other thing I did yesterday is I applied my spring fertilizer application. So this is a thing that I've been waiting for, because once you put down this application, it's about a week to a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks depending on your weather, and that grass kicks in like crazy. It just starts growing and growing and growing, and then you start cutting. And once you put down a spring fertilizer application like I've suggested, you are going to have to mow twice a week for at least 2 to 3 weeks. So be prepared that you're going to have to be out doing some weeknight lawn work. It's not a big deal now with what's going on in the world, but once everything gets back to normal and you're going back to work, you're going to have to get out and do weeknight lawn work on Wednesday, on Thursday after work, and cut your lawn. So keep that in mind. You're not just going to be able to cut every weekend, you're going to have to cut during the week. So I was planning to put down my fertilizer application today originally, but then we got a brief weather change last night and the rain was coming. So once it rains, you got to throw down hard. Yesterday we put down 1 pound of nitrogen and just over 1/2 pound of potash, and that's how we got it covered. So I have some clips from us putting down the fertilizer yesterday. I'm going to be going through first what fertilizer to use and how to tell when to fertilize your lawn. Last week or a week and a half ago, I told you guys to put down your pre-emergent because soil temps hit 50 degrees where I am in southern Ontario, and it was time to go throw down your pre-emergent. For those of you up to Barrie, Perry Sound, it is also go time there. So go ahead, throw down your pre-emergent now. It is definitely go time. Go throw down your pre-emergent. That's how you're going to stop your weeds from coming in this year. I'd suggest using a cornmeal product. It's linked in the description of all of my videos. But it will be linked in the description of this one. There's a Scott's product, and there's another product that I get from my local farm supply store. So I know a lot of you are freaking out. I've actually got a few comments from a few of the people that I know that watch this channel. They're freaking out because it got cold last week, and I knew that was coming. I saw that was coming in the weather forecast, but I still knew the soil temps are hitting 50 degrees, the grass is growing, the weeds are growing. You got to get that pre-emergent to stop. And it actually snowed 3 to 4 times last. So because it snowed so late in the year and people have already put down the application, people panic, people freak out. They're saying, what is my application screwed up? The weather screwed up my pre-emergent. I just wasted my pre-emergent by putting it down. No, it didn't. The snow comes, those air temperatures change. Air temperatures are not reliable. Soil temps are. Think about the earth. The earth is a ginormous mass of ground, and when the sun heats up the soil, it takes a long time for that soil to cool down. Think about when you heat up a frying pan. You heat up a frying pan on the stove with an element. Then when you turn that element off, which is just like air temps dropping below zero, that frying pan is still extremely hot to the touch. It takes a while for that frying pan to cool down. So don't worry about the cold snap we had last week and the snow. Snow is just powdered rain. That's all it is, people. So once it seeped in, it was just watering in your pre-emergent. That's all it was doing. And the cold temps didn't affect soil temps over here. In fact, my grass grew all through last week, even when it was snowing. So don't worry about snow. Don't worry about changing soil temps. We're supposed to have another dip earlier this week where I am. Air temps, soil temps. It's going to be snowing. It's fine. Even if you cut your grass, it's fine. Things like this happen in the weather. The weather is very unpredictable, but soil temps are predictable. They don't change very much. Once they hit 50 degrees, it takes a long time of cold air to bring it back down below zero. Just think in the fall, it's cold for a very long period of time before your ground is frozen. Look at that. This had snow on it a minute ago. And as soon as the sun comes out, it's gone. Absolutely gone. That shows you right there what is going on. We're going to be talking about this in this week's video. Besides that point, it's time to put down our spring fertilizer. And here's how I know it's time to. One, it's about a week or 2 weeks after we put down our pre-emergent, and our grass is definitely actively growing. You can see in the backyard, this is actively growing grass. If you feel it, you can tell that it is growing. 2, the forsythia bushes bloom. Forsythia bushes blooms are based on soil temps. So when the soil temps start to get up above 50 degrees, the forsythia bushes bloom, and therefore that's how you tell it's time to put down your spring fertilizer. So without further ado, let me go into the garage. We're going to tell you a little bit about fertilizers, different types of fertilizers. I'm going to tell you what fertilizer to put down in the spring, and how to tell how much nitrogen you are getting in your lawn. So as far as you guys know, last week we covered that our pre-emergent was a natural fertilizer, and that's why it had natural fertilizer properties, even though it wasn't meant to be a fertilizer. And that's why you can see my back lawn is greening up a lot more than my front lawn, because my front lawn did not get that natural fertilizer, and this application that I applied yesterday is the first fertilizer application it has received all year. So the fertilizer I put down yesterday was a synthetic, and I'm going to tell you the difference between a synthetic and a natural fertilizer right now. This, my friends, is a synthetic lawn fertilizer. This is what I put down yesterday. Smells like success. Okay, so I've cut this bag open, and here's what we got going here. These are called prills. These are the individual fertilizer prills that you put down. This bag in particular has pretty big prills, pretty large prills. And that is how you can tell that this is a synthetic one way. Normally synthetic have larger prills than natural fertilizers, as well as look at these prills. You see how these are different colors. These are greens, there's some browns, some blues in there. That's how you can tell it's a synthetic. For example, all of these greens would be the magnesium supplement. All of these blues would be phosphorus. All of these browns would be potash. And this is how you can tell how that it's a synthetic fertilizer. It's a mix of a whole bunch of different materials put together into one bag. So it's a synthetic. A natural, all these prills would be the same color, normally smaller, as we saw with our corn gluten. All of the prills were a yellowy color once we put them in the hopper, and this is how we tell that this is a synthetic fertilizer. Why do I care if I'm putting down a synthetic or a natural? Well, synthetic fertilizers, you have a very high chance, or you have a higher chance of burning. Not very high, but if you put it down properly, you won't burn. But you do have a higher chance of burning than a natural fertilizer. It's almost impossible to burn. So you guys trust in true Milorganite down there in the south, it is pretty much impossible for you to burn your lawn with Milorganite. It just turns into a sludge once you over apply. So what I'm going to be recommending in my spring program is you're going to put down 2 applications of this 3008 or an all-purpose fertilizer, a 16-16-16 or a 10-10-10, whatever you can find. I have both of those linked in the description below. You're going to put those down once now and once on the May 2-4 weekend we have up here in Canada. In the States, you're going to put it down on Memorial Day weekend. You're going to put that down to help the lawn kickstart in the spring. And as I've said before, this will require a lot of mowing. And as Ryan Norris said, once you become more advanced, you can start to do a spoon feeding program But me personally, I like the mow, I like to enjoy the mow, and I like to have my lawn growing like crazy. I can tell you from true testimonials, I got my uncle to do this exact program last year, and just about June, he came up to me and he said, "Wade, my lawn looks amazing, but I hate you because I have to cut the lawn every 2 to 3 days." And it's true. This program, you are jacking the lawn with nitrogen at a point where it's already growing insanely fast. And this is how you're going to get your lawn greener than everybody else, thicker than everybody else's, and as lush, the lushest lawn on the street. And if you combine that with a lawn striping kit, your lawn will stand out for years to come. So that's what I'm suggesting to you guys for fertilizers. I hope that all makes sense. And now without further ado, let's get into how to apply. We talked about fertilizer rates last week and how we put down our pre-emergent at 5 pounds per thousand. Well, if you read the back of this bag, it tells you to put it down at 3 pounds per thousand. That is a definitely reasonable rate. That is how you put down fertilizer. Most fertilizer put down to 3 pounds per thousand, just below or just below. So if you have the Scott's fertilizer, you're gonna follow the directions on the bag and set your dial to what the directions on the bag say. But if you have, if you're using a pre-emergent or a fertilizer that's not Scott's, and you're trying to figure out how to put it down, here's what I'm going to tell you. So this bag tells you to put down at 3 pounds per thousand. I have that bag in the description. If you want to buy it, go ahead. I don't get any money from those links. You're going to set your fertilizer spreader to 5 1/4. That is 3 pounds per thousand on a Scott spreader, 5 1/4. So go ahead, set your fertilizer spreader to 5 1/4. Put your product in there and throw her down. Throw her down. Let's hope for the best. So as you can see in this clip, we've done a trim pass first. That's when you go all the way around the lawn. If you have an edge guard on your spreader, set that edge guard and go all the way around. Then take your edge guard off and you're going to throw back to the previous wheel mark. So as you go up and down the lawn, you're going to throw back to the previous wheel marks of your fertilizer spreader, and that's how you're going to get an even application of fertilizer on your lawn. Okay, so this area, although I titled this video for beginners, this area is a little bit more advanced. However, I think it's good for you to have an understanding of what you're putting down once you set your fertilizer spreader to 3 pounds per thousand. So as we covered, I'm covering this all in the same fertilizer bag. Fertilizer bag is 3008, 30% nitrogen, 0% phosphorus, and 8% potash. You are putting down that 3008 bag at 3 pounds per thousand. Therefore, you times 30% times 3, which is 90% or 1 pound. So we pretty much got almost 1 pound in of nitrogen. So we got 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. And then if you go look at the potash, we have 8%. We'll call that 10. 10 times 3, 30% potash. So that is how you calculate how much product you're putting down per 1,000. So in my application and the application I'm telling you guys, so you're gonna buy that fertilizer in the distinction, you're gonna put it in your spreader, you're gonna set it to 5 1/4, you're gonna throw her down, and once you're done, you're gonna end up getting 1 pound of nitrogen in per 1,000 square feet and 1/3 of a pound of potash in per 1,000 square feet. So with that all said and done, I'm gonna go water some trees, finish pressure washing the deck, and then head inside and edit this video for you guys. So I hope this helped you. I hope you guys can get out there and put down your fertilizer. Any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. I normally try to answer every question I get. And from the Great Green North, my name is Wade Murray. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you. Like, comment, subscribe, stay safe, and keep it free.